All right, so you're going to have to help me and just ignore the fact that my daughter is playing Fortnite, I think, in the living room because I'm having a day. So, today we're going to talk briefly, this is the last video in this section, about delivery. And delivery is all of the behavior around a speech. Here's the cool thing, we've already covered the vast majority of it because we've talked about good verbal and good nonverbal communication. But I want to make sure that I at least talk about a few things that I've heard come from students in the past so that you know what to do when you do your own speech. First of all, there's some things that maybe you wouldn't normally think about with being on video. First of all is your background. I know that I'm kind of the queen of clutter. I got a lot of stuff back there, but I did have like a roll of paper towels and some other stuff that I have moved. You know, you want to be mindful that your background is good. The other thing is you want to make sure that your camera angle, like so here's my camera right here, you can kind of see it, that my camera is going to either be above, looking down at me, or it's going to be right at me. What you wouldn't want with your camera is to have it way down here and have it looking up at me. The problem with doing this is, first of all, chin, right? But also, it's very difficult to see the person, they look silly, and oftentimes what we'll get in the shot are lights. And whenever you have a light in a shot, it can make it really hard to see. Also, if you have to move the if you're doing it on a phone, try to get your phone to stand still, put it on a stand or use a pop socket so that they can, so that you're not constantly moving the viewer around and they're doing crazy. Try to make sure that you get your camera placed before you start talking, and that's going to make it better, all right? Also, try to see if you can get your family to be quiet, but if a dog barks like you just heard in the background, or if a kid yells, you don't have to stop your speech, all right? You can acknowledge it once. You could go, dog. Or you can just say, excuse me, and then, if you have to take care of it, you take care of it. But, for the most part, people understand that we're all at home and that there's things that go on in our homes that we can't control. So, it might simply be something exactly like this. I'm going to actually do this. Pardon me. Excuse me, kiddo, can you let the dog out, please? Thank you. So, sometimes you may have to deal with that. When you do, just say, excuse me, let the craziness, and I'll normally stop the tape, right? And then I will go back into the actual speech, Try not to get too flustered. I think people realize it happens all the time. The next thing to think about is your posture and how you're sat. You can totally stand for your speeches. That's fine. If you're not going to stand, then, try to at least sit up and use gestures. All right. It'll make it easier for people to understand you, and it'll make you look better and feel more confident. Another thing you want to be careful of is rolly chairs, that you don't end up doing this the whole time. Keep your feet on the floor or put your feet up on something. I actually have a little bike under my desk that I use, and that'll help kind of keep you upright. You also want to try to make eye contact if you can, where you're looking up at the camera, not necessarily at yourself. One thing that I do as a trick, because I really struggle not to look at myself, is I actually take the monitor and I put it up by the camera so that if I do look at myself, at least it still looks like I'm looking at you. A few myths to avoid. Number one, never imagine people naked. It doesn't work. The reason it doesn't work is because that is an encoding process that you have to do. And what did we learn about encoding at the beginning of the semester, right? Encoding happens and it's a creative channel. So if I'm having to construct an image of people naked, then that's also creative and that creates, kind of things in the channel. Another thing, don't just look at the back wall if you're actually talking to real people. That also doesn't work because again, it's kind of the same effect at looking at yourself in a video, all right? And then the number one thing that you can do for really good delivery is like your content, be passionate about what you're going to talk about, and try to actually care about your performance. Actually put some time into practice. The more you practice, the better it is. Good delivery is invisible. You don't even know what's going on. So keep those things in mind, and I think you'll have good success. Don't forget to gesture, right? And I hope that this is something that's helpful to you. All right, see you in the next video. She's still playing. It's going to be a day.